know what that is? Oh, yeah, that probably does get a monetization strike there, huh? That's Peter Griffin singing Indiana Jones. It's a great show, by the way, at Hollywood Studios. Yeah. Oh, it's spectacular. And I believe the word spectacular is even in the show. I was in the show, by the way. I was a guest. Not once, twice. In the first place, I was the guy that was supposed to scream. I just had to scream bloody murder. Yeah. Oh, I was in it, yeah. Yeah, you've never heard anything like that before. I wanted a job. I was like, you guys are about to witness the best. Yeah, if you ever go, I'll show you how to get picked. Pretty easy. No, you'd be great. You'd be great. Hey, welcome to the Closing Beat, everybody. How we doing out there? We're closing up, man. We're gonna close up. I thought about titling this one "Jazz Wealth," just closing up, but I can't do that. The clickbait stuff is so tough. First designs of our new place there. That's my scribble up there. That's official architectural drawings. But you can see we have some office space here. We've got our studio space here, and we're just trying to design, how we're gonna move all this stuff. And I think while we're at it, we're just going to redo it all and start from scratch. So maybe all of this will look different, but we've got a lot of work to do. So I will get to the point and just start talking about the stock market here today because I think there's some interesting underlying kind of currents going on in this. So we'll dive right into it. Also, in our Wine and Wealth class last week, talked about 4 different things. I told you I was going to dive into it. See what I did? I lied to you. Mutual funds, talking about reducing fees in mutual funds, an FSA trick if you're into that, how to make deposits in the dojo. Now you can do that, actually. So that's all in there for you. I hope you'll check that out if you're one of our clients. On the right-hand side of the screen, a little bit of red. A little bit of red there. It's earnings season. This is the second busiest week of earnings season. Next week is officially the busiest. Yesterday I showed you the whole spreadsheet to kind of go through Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Well, those are all coming out. Today is Tuesday, and so we're in the thick of it here. There is a lot going on, actually. The issue, if you're just like, I don't care, dude. I don't want to look at individual stocks. I just kind of want to know how things are going generally. What's happening is companies are reporting earnings that are mostly beating, pretty good across the board, but investors are looking for that little tiny thing, and I'll cover a bunch of them with different stocks today, that are causing selling. Tesla is a great example. That's a great earnings report. But they're looking for the littlest, tiniest thing to sell the stock and take profits and maybe hope for a pullback there, so we'll see. Any one little thing, man. Microsoft's a great example here. Great earnings report after hours. We'll maybe cover it tomorrow or something. Great earnings report. Xbox deliveries were just a little bit lower because they can't get the freaking parts to put together the Xboxes. So, that may be a reason for the initial move lower there. If you're looking off to the side here, we'll start with the S&P. Today was really, in every index I'm going to look at, weakness across the board, but mostly in the growth stocks. So if you're looking at the S&P today, growth stocks were hit the worst. Your broad index stocks the worst. Value stocks actually finished the day up positive. So it's again one of those things where the largest names, the heaviest weighted stocks are actually pushing things lower, and it's not a indication of the broad market actually showing signs of weakness, although it is starting to spread a little bit. If you look around, you got Amazon weak on the day, down 2%. Apple with their earnings. Apple trading at about 146 now at the moment. So down a little bit on the day, just a touch lower after hours. Microsoft hit a little bit lower after hours. Closed at 286. It's sitting around 279 at the moment. Otherwise, good earnings for them. Alphabet was down on the day, a little bit extended, so you kind of understand the pullback there. All of these names either had earnings or have earnings coming up. Here's the fun part there. So do you like a good reason for the stock market to pull back, do you? Do you? Are you hoping for that? Currently, there are 5 stocks, more stocks that are on this than that are on this hand here. 5 stocks in the S&P, which make up 20.7% of the S&P. So if those 5 stocks have a bad day, the S&P is going to have a bad day. No question about it, no other way to look at it. Those 5 stocks are Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook, and Google. They all have earnings that either just came out, as we're talking just before, or have earnings coming up. And those stocks are all headed lower. So that's what's pulling the S&P here a little bit lower on the day. Now, what's fun, just for fun, You go back to 1999. Anybody old enough to remember that? 1999, when I was scribbling stocks on the desk in high school there. A lot of people refer to this as the tech bubble. Everybody just wanted to be in tech. The top 5 stocks now, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook, Google. The top 5 stocks then were Microsoft, GE, Cisco, Walmart, and ExxonMobil. Those were your top, most heavily weighted stocks in the S&P that accounted for 16.8%. So we have 5 stocks controlling 1/5 of the market now. Back then, we had 5 stocks, the biggest 5 stocks controlled 16.8%. ExxonMobil is now 22nd largest, Cisco 25th, Walmart 39th, and GE, I just kind of got tired of counting. It's way down. It's not even in the S&P. So what does that tell you? What happens when the largest group of stocks moves the market higher? We could expand this further and show the performance of those 5 stocks in 1999, even though they weren't tech stocks. When they decided to start falling, that was before tech stocks actually, the bubble burst, so to speak there. So anyways, that's what you have in the S&P 500. You've got earnings weighing a little bit, and you have, to me, 5 stocks that are controlling the ship. Makes it very dangerous. That's like, not being more diversified in a portfolio or something. If those have a bad time, you better be ready to hold on, and that's kind of at the mercy of or putting the market at the mercy of those 5 stocks right now. The NASDAQ, today, big tech weakness. I've already covered some of them. Big tech weakness, we got the NASDAQ as a whole down 1.5% there. Also, semiconductors, if I could just dive into that here real quick. If you're looking towards the weak end of the performance today, Xilinx down on the day. KLA 10 core, CLAC is a ticker symbol. Just a weak day overall. Lam Research was in there as well. These haven't really made a lot of progress yet, and that's because of earnings. AMD, Micron, all of those. AMD's already out. They had good earnings. Micron, I think is tomorrow. It's coming up here next couple days. So semiconductors and the big tech stocks in the NASDAQ were what held that one back today. Just very simple, easy way to look at it. The NASDAQ just briefly got into first place year to date, by the way. Now it's in second. So not bad, still good performance for the year. However, little frothy here, right? Do you feel it? You feel just a little bit out there? The Russell 2000 pulled back. One of the worst performers today, actually the worst performer, down 1.2% on the day. It's in last place for the year, however, still double digits, so we're not complaining there. I believe it's about 11% year to date. It was the hardest hit today. Small cap growth stocks were the hardest hit factor, as we call it, in the market, right? Small cap index stocks, second hardest hit, and then small cap value stocks were the 4th hardest hit, actually. You had large cap growth stocks were the weakest there. So that's the Russell 2000. In the Dow, you've got a really sort of a comfortable 3rd place position here for the Dow. Held up the best today, just had a slight down day. It was a kind of a little bit of a tug of war between the Dow 30 stocks that are in there. The problem is the gainers were small. Microsoft up 1%, and McDonald's up 1%, and maybe just a little extended here in a short term, you might agree. Merck was up about 0.75% on the day, just fighting hard to get above the 200-day. Verizon also strong today, but really in the middle of a downtrend. And so the gainers today were, aside from McDonald's, really weren't your leaders, right? Some tough areas there. Semiconductors are going to be weak. So, Intel had a rough day, down 2% on the day. Boeing was one of the big losers here today. But it wasn't horrible. I mean, so the gains sort of outweighed, sort of just barely underperformed the losses, and therefore you had a slight down day on the day. Well, all of that puts the Dow basically, really flat for like the last couple months. Not in a bad position, just not really chugging along and doing everything we'd like, which helps if you're playing Guess the Dow, which Cody's got our update for.
Yep, we got kind of a new leaderboard. Not much movement. Everyone just kind of shifted up one. So we got Dennis, Russell, Mike, Tina, and Joe are your leaders today. If you want to play, you can go to jazzwealth.com/guess the Dow. Get your guesses in for next week. Also, since this is the only time you get to let me talk, got a research post coming out tonight, hopefully, about how the markets perform around the Olympics. But the fun part is I went around and asked, people in the office, what would they want to compete in, basically, in the Olympics. So if you want to figure out what Dustin put down, you can go check that out tonight.
I had a good one. If you had to be in the Olympics and compete in the Olympics, which one do you think you'd do the best in? Probably not win, maybe not gold, maybe not even silver or bronze, but what would you think you'd do the best in? Also, stock market-wise, if you're looking at real estate, we just saw yesterday new home sales actually significantly cooling off there, getting a little bit weak, so home builders making the right decisions there. Home prices, we got that today. Phoenix having the largest increase both month over month and year over year. 3.75% increases in Phoenix since last month in home prices. 25, almost 26% over the last year. San Diego comes in second with 24%. Seattle 23% comes in third place. Tampa, which is closest to us, 18% increases. 2.5% gains in home prices over the last month. It was impressive. Las Vegas is 2.92. The national average month-over-month change in home prices is 2.14%. That's above average, by the way. 16% year-over-year. So home prices treating you well if you're in that home price game there. All right, sector breakdown here for the day. What I'm going to do, because sector-wise, you kind of had an even split today, almost perfectly. Well, you can't have perfectly even, but basically a perfectly even split between those that were positive and those that were negative. So what we're going to do is look through a handful of sectors here and look for the biggest gainers or the most overbought stocks and oversold stocks. I'm going to start with utilities because that was your best performing sector of the day. If you look at something like an AEP, that is the most overbought stock in the short term. Duke Energy also being the most overbought and darn near highs, actually. On the downside there, most oversold stocks, AES, and really fighting there to try to come off the lows. Edison doing the same. Edison finished actually at its highs today, 3%. And they have earnings coming up. Just a heads up on that one there. If we're looking inside of real estate, actually, you've got equity residential. So equity residential, one of the more overbought stocks in the short term there. UDR also, and I would argue maybe just a touch more extended there. Vornado real estate, most oversold here in the short term. And Host Hotels, which was the outperformer of all of the hotels earlier in the year, still just pulling back, but now a little bit oversold. If we look towards the downside there, communication services was your weakest area of the day. And I'm going to go over here. And I'm going to look inside of there. You've got most overbought, IPG. Interpublic is the name of the company if you're interested. And Facebook, right? Facebook recently hitting new highs a couple times. Most oversold, you got ATVI with a big move down today for Activision, and Lumen. LUMN is a ticker symbol, most oversold there. And we'll just do the second worst performing sector today because you know tech was down on the day. The second worst performing sector was consumer discretionary. And if I look inside of there, you're going to have Hasbro being the most overbought thanks to earnings yesterday. McDonald's, you already know, we covered that one as well. Starbucks just had earnings come out, and that's actually going to change things a little bit. It was up to 126 today. Earnings, not bad, actually good earnings for Starbucks. But it's down around 121. Yeah, right in here. So that's going to solve the overbought condition there for that one in the communication or in the consumer discretionary. Las Vegas Sands, most oversold, which is not really, it should just be called Sands nowadays. And Wynn Resorts, both falling into the same category there. So that's kind of a quick, sector update there to let you know what's going on. Earnings. All right, you probably heard this already, but let's go through a couple things. You got Tesla. Great earnings, right? Stock falls about 2% on the day. They do $1.3 billion in profit, $12 billion in sales, nearly $500 million more than analysts actually thought. Stock really doesn't do a whole lot there. And it was actually driven by profitability, not the credits. Remember, they were given a hard time for their regulatory credits. Regulatory credits, actually doing the math, only come out to just under 4% of their total revenues there. Gross margins, 28%. That's almost a record. 29.4% was their highest gross or operating margins as of, third quarter-ish 2016. They got $619 million of free cash flow. That's a decline there. Production rates over 50%, which is what they want. That was their own sort of metric that they set for themselves there. The only issue was that they're having troubles in both solar and in the auto manufacturing, because they can't get the chips, right? The chips have been an issue there. Shanghai factory is a little bit behind, but Texas and Berlin are right on schedule, so all is good there. So I thought it was a good earnings report there. Looking at Louis Vuitton, which is not coming up. I might have just been disconnected there. Sorry, there we go. So Louis Vuitton actually coming out, we call them Louis Vuitton, LVMH there. They killed it. Overall revenue, 80% higher in all categories. These guys sell some high-end stuff, you know what I'm talking about. They call them houses, by the way. So like the fragrance and their alcohol and their luxury clothing lines and stuff. Think Moet, Dior, Louis Vuitton, Tiffany, Bulgari, Tag Heuer. This is who owns all of those things there. Did great. People are out there spending tons of money on really expensive stuff. American Campus I put on there because this is kind of a look at, with these guys, it's a REIT that focuses on campus or just slightly off-campus housing. And so really good there. Beat on revenue by 4%. They guided higher. They're seeing positivity as far as people coming back to campus and actually allowing them to make a few dollars. So that was kind of just a different one to look at. UPS, big down day, and in my opinion, a big down buying opportunity for UPS. I think a lot of people would probably agree. Earnings beat by 8%, revenue missed by 2%. I mean, big freaking deal. They guided for 12.7% margins there, which is not a record, but it's good. That's near highs. They saw slightly lower deliveries and revenue on their individual deliveries. I mean, a touch, like 1.8%. It was something ridiculous. But again, people were looking at earnings and saying, if you can't kill it, we're not rewarding you. And that stock was down 7%. So I think that's an opportunity, not a reason to run. Raytheon beat by 11%. Pratt & Whitney was the big focus there. Sales up 2.4%. Really nothing bad there at all. So they got rewarded, right? There was no real negative to speak of for them. Sherwin-Williams ended up almost 1% higher on the day. They pretty much, this would be an outlier. They pretty much said, hey, we were here, and during the pandemic, everybody was buying paint and stuff, and they were going home and painting their new office that they had to work out of at home. And now we're kind of back to normal. But they got to pass on that because it was still about normal. There wasn't a significant decline there. They said everything is cooling off, I believe was their actual words. JetBlue down about 7% on the day. Revenue, $1.49 billion. Margins at 10% there. They got rid of $300 million in debt, but they said they expect to see their revenue decline. And I think it was closer to 10%. Somewhere around 5 to 10% was what they were expecting. I believe that's probably the reason that they took the hit here today. All right, I'll do stocks in the news, and I'll take your questions if you have any there. Amazon comes out and says, no, we Bitcoin took off because everybody said that Amazon's going to start taking Bitcoin yesterday, and Amazon said, that's not true, not the case at all. Stock was down about 2%. All the broad tech stocks sold off today. Speaking of broad tech, Facebook says they're working with Apple to connect workout data, so maybe the first of it's not a partnership, but maybe the first of them being friends. They're not really friends in real life. Pulte Homes Group there reports earnings, and where'd they land up? Missed on earnings by a penny. Revenue's a little bit weaker than expected. Invitation Homes. I don't know if you know who these guys are. INVH is the ticker symbol. So these guys basically buy and build homes to just rent them out. They want to be, and they are, America's largest landlord. And so they went to Pulte Homes and they said, we'll buy 1,000 homes if you'll build them. And Pulte Homes said, okay, yeah, we'll do that. Then they came back and said, we'll buy 7,500 homes in Florida, Georgia, California, and Texas if you're willing to build them. They're literally going to build these homes, and then they're just going to rent them out to people. Really kind of fascinating there. We have a lot of them around here. I see a lot of their signs when it's for rent and stuff. And I think there's an office somewhere around here. SolarWinds also is doing a reverse stock split. It did not take, I feel like it took effect already, but it did not. That goes through on August 2nd, reverse stock split for them. So that's that one. And then also, I happen to have one of these. I just saw this come up in the news. They're recalling, McCormick is recalling the Perfect Pinch Italian seasoning, the Culinary Italian seasoning, and Frank's Red Hot Buffalo Ranch seasoning because you could be exposed to salmonella. You got your McCormick. Do you have any of those? Are you a Frank's Red Hot kind of guy?
I do actually. What was it, the first one you mentioned? Italian?
Yeah, Perfect Pinch.
Yeah.
That's what I had.
Grab some of that over the weekend.
Perfect. But you got to be careful.
I like Frank's Red Hot as well.
This was their ranch. See, I haven't done the Buffalo Ranch, but I've done the hot sauce. I like their commercial, by the way. I would love to do a commercial like that. Remember Frank's Red Hot? It would be an old lady, and she goes, I can't say it, but they bleeped it out. She would go, Frank's Red Hot Sauce. I put that on everything. And it was just her saying that. Like, that's brilliant. That was like the Where's the Beef ladies. Anybody remember Where's the Beef? No, nobody remembers that. It's getting old. Getting old and stuff. Can't remember where I'm at. All right, let's see. What do we got here? I'll take your questions if you have any, and then I'll wrap it up and get the heck out of here. Yeah, no, I agree. Everybody's focused on Bitcoin right now. Yay, Bitcoin. AMC and GME still in the mix there. Still have people asking about that. Yeah, salmonella and spices. I ain't taking any chances, but I'm just saying. Now I got to watch out for Frank's. First Johnson & Johnson. Huh? Too soon? Yep. Walmart version of Red Hot is cheaper and tastes the same. Does it now? Ah, I'm up for a good deal. Talked about Pulte Home, so hopefully you caught that one there. McDonald's extended fast food stocks reported so far rewarded nicely. We can expect the same from McDonald's. You have to expect more. I think that the market and how people are responding to earnings already are letting you know that McDonald's better respond better than what everybody's expecting. Otherwise, it's pulling back. Yep. Wendy's ads. There you go. There you are. Yeah. There was a day I had Dustin's front up hair trend and loved it. Hey, it's pretty sweet, right? Enjoy it, man. I'm just happy that it's here. Yeah, it looks like that when I wake up, too. I don't do anything, man. Just wake up, start my day. There was also, what was the other one I was thinking of? Lay's potato chips, I think it was. On the back, it would say, I'll bet you can't eat just one. Remember that one? They were always right, too. Always right. Yeah. 31, you cannot retire till you retire. All right, that's cool. I'm 39. I'm 39. So, yeah, we'll hang out together. 8 to 10% correction coming, for gosh sakes, I hope so. I think everyone on the planet would welcome it. We'd all feel better about it. It'd give the Fed some reason to just quit talking as much. It'd be great. Yep. Adding UPS to the watch list. Yeah, I think I didn't look through this, but this is one of those where I'll bet you there's not one analyst today that said, uh-oh, this is horrible. This is now a sell. This is in a bad position. You got all of them. Analysts all saying they're still positive. United Parcel Service, they're all positive. It's just one of those moves where you go, I don't get it. People want to sell. All right, scale that position up a little bit or start to think about doing that. Yeah. They're going to spend about $4 billion. That's still lower than expected. Yeah. Hey, man, we're remembering all the old advertisements out there. Now we'll be thinking about that all night. All right. Well, I have a fair amount to do here, especially with moving everything. But I'll wish you a good rest of your day. We'll be back tomorrow to do this all over again. And did I mess anything up today, Cody?
No, I think today was a perfectly executed show. Nicely done.
Nicely done. I think we're gonna focus on that. If I mess something up, you got to chime in and say, nope, that's not it.
8.3 today was the score.
8.3.
Good show.
Right. I like it. Well, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you later.